24 minutes before 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. Just a little sneak peek at what Robin and I do on a daily basis. Every single day we come in here early.
Yes.
We do the radio show, and then we leave here, get a bite to eat someplace, and then we go rehearse the music. And for those of you who don't know, we do music, and Clark Howard is on the phone. He might not have known that since he's never spoken to us before.
That's right.
And then I will take Robin home, usually.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And I turn on the radio, and I know Clark's show is live at noon, but we carry him from 6 to 9 here on WOCA. So I listen to Clark Howard every single day. And I have some favorite features of his that I can't wait to talk to him about. But right now he's on the phone to promote a book. It is called Clark Howard's Living Large for the Long Haul. This is the second book I know of. He might have more than two. Both books are printed on newsprint to save money.
That's right.
I think that's what he said on his show. So he's on the phone and he's on our airwaves all the time, this time live talking to us. Good morning, Clark Howard.
Good morning. So this is actually my 10th book, believe it or not.
10th book. Holy mackerel. Now,
10th book. Yeah, I've written 10 books over the last 20 years. I don't know where they come from, but somehow they keep coming out. It's a crazy thing.
Did you have enough clout with the first book to actually get it printed on newsprint?
Well, I'll tell you the thing why I print my books on cheap paper. And this is not a joke. I'm able to get the publisher to lower the price of the book by printing on a lower grade of paper.
Right.
That's why my books are always paperback. And normally, personal finance books are hardcover books, and the price point makes them just unapproachable. So I wanted to have a price point that people could feel comfortable buying the book and not be like, what do they want me to do? Take my car payment, pay it, or buy a book?
Right. Well, that's the thing. I mean, but here's the other side of that coin. If between the covers of that book, you're giving information to people so that ultimately it's an investment and not an expense, then really $20, $25 doesn't really matter. Whatever a hardcover book costs these days, right?
Oh my goodness! Every dollar matters. No, but this one.
That's right. I forgot who I was talking to. Yeah, that's right.
Well, let me tell you something we do. You would expect this from me. We have on ClarkHoward.com, we have ClarkHoward.com/book, and you can go there and see excerpts of the book for free and make sure it really is worth buying, because maybe it won't be for you. I want you to make sure it's a good use of your money. And then we shop right there, different places you can buy the book to see who's got the best price at the moment, so you don't have to pay retail for it.
So what about the ebook? Isn't that even more affordable?
Yeah, the ebook's much cheaper. The ebook, I think Amazon's selling it for $8, $8.99, somewhere in there.
There you go.
And then you can download it instantly. We first started seeing a lot of sales of ebooks 2 years ago with my last book, and that book was right at the point that people were feeling really, really lost in the aftermath of the Great Recession, the financial crisis.
Right.
And that one actually went all the way to number 1 on the New York Times bestseller list.
Wow.
So that was my first time going into that rarefied space.
Clark, I want to tell you something, and you can probably relate to this somewhat because you do a radio show. We're stuck. Robin and I are stuck in this little fish tank here. Mm-hmm. By the way, we're broadcasting from the Paddock Mall, so if you're ever in Ocala, come into the studio. You will love it. There's lots of eye candy here. I don't know if you're into eye candy, but I am. So.
That's right.
Yeah. But let me tell you one of my favorite parts of your show. You ready for this?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Listen for this. I love when you talk about traveling. And that's what I'm getting at. We're stuck in here, so I live vicariously through your callers and you that talk about traveling. And here's one of the most amazing things I hear you say often. Somebody will say, you'll say, well, where are you traveling to? And they're looking for the best price for an airplane or something like that. And you say, where are you going? And they'll tell you, oh, I'm going to Taiwan. Oh, you're going to Taiwan? Oh, when you get off the airport, you're going to be in the terminal. Go down the stairs to the left. There's a guy wearing a blue jean shirt, and he's got tickets for sale, and you can exchange your money with him. He's got
You're amazing.
Like you know the whole layout of the airport.
No, I mean, I have traveled to every continent except Antarctica. I can't give any first-hand advice about Antarctica. But I've been everywhere else. I've been to every state except North Dakota, and a lot of places over and over again. And by the way, sitting in Ocala, do you know where all the deals are?
No, where are they?
They're out of Sanford.
All
Oh,
the
wow.
deals are out of Sanford. Oh, what kind of deals? What do you mean?
Well, Sanford Airport, which is at the extreme northern end of the Orlando metro area,
Right.
Sanford has all the bargain flights to other spots in the United States, to Europe in particular.
Really?
Is much cheaper than any other airport to fly in and out of in the state of Florida.
I never knew that.
And what is Sanford? It's about 50 minutes.
Yeah.
It's not that far.
It's right near the zoo.
Right.
Maybe there's a reason for that.
One of the most wonderful things about your book is that it is real life. I mean, real people, different scenarios, age groups, different genders. That's pretty amazing. You could put all that together.
Well, we solicited at ClarkHoward.com and on my Facebook page, and we tweeted out that I was doing this book on profiles of people who got hurt in some way over the last 6 years and what they did to put it back together. And I had thousands of people say, pick me, tell my story. And then we sifted through them and picked 50 people representing different circumstances, excessive debt,
Really?
exposure, lost their jobs, whatever, and profiled their stories, what they did right, what they've done wrong, since they got train wrecked.
That applies to Robin and myself as well. We're two different families, by the way. We're not a married couple, just so you know. But in her life, she's had her share of baggage in the financial world, and so have I. And in both and just so you know, I mean, we don't make a fortune doing this radio thing. Mm-hmm. But we did kind of listen to some of the tips you've been given all these years, actually. So I have a question for you. On the cover, there are some young people, like little children, and there's a segment that you did on your show one day, and a little child called in. And when I first heard it, I thought this is going to be cute, but the kid knew more than I did
Yeah, he
about
was amazing.
investing. Yeah, I think it was a little boy. It sounded like a little girl, but
Yeah.
Do you remember that segment, or do you get more than one?
We get the kids call. I get an unusual number of calls from single-digit kids, and then especially a lot of teenage boys and girls will call me, and I'm like, how did you learn this stuff already?
Right.
They always say no affect, how they know this thing about money or that thing about money, or how they've saved the money they have. And it's like life. There are so many different personalities and people, and there are some kids that are tuned into money in ways that I wasn't ever as a young child.
And do you find that the stories in the book, regardless of the age, do you find that the secret to pulling themselves out of a bad time was better investing, getting a better job? Obviously, if you're not making enough money, how do you do it? So, where was the light at the end of the tunnel for the people in the book?
Well, it varied by situation, which is why I did such a variety of profiles. But a lot of people have faced job loss over the last 6 years, and that is such an opportunity. People have looked at it as a crisis in their own life.
Right.
But it's one of the great opportunities you have in a lifetime. It's like, wait a minute. I want to do something else. I want to do something new. There's a guy who I have in the book who was an AIG financier. And, when AIG went bust,
right,
failed taxpayers and all that, huge numbers of very, very bright, highly educated people lost their jobs. This guy named Steven started a new business making healthy popsicles, or not bad for you popsicles, whatever you'd call them. And the guy is getting rich making these popsicles.
Really?
He's been on a trip to Mexico and had seen these people selling these fresh fruit popsicles and was eating them. This was before he lost his job.
Right.
And after he lost his job, he was like, I love those popsicles.
That's funny.
He does that here. And in his brother's kitchen, he started making these popsicles. And now he's got this big business selling them to Whole Foods, and they're in a lot of Whole Foods. They're called King of Pops, and they're great. My favorite's banana pudding.
Banana pudding. But see what you're describing is something that is not possible in every country. I mean, it's kind of a testament to what we have here in America, even though we're badmouthed all the time, even by our own selves.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, right? Am I right about that? You can't do this in every country. What
Yeah.
you just described.
You're completely right. That's the unique American secret sauce. We're a very large country,
Right.
lots of resources. We have the opportunity for anybody to, if they have the ingenuity, to make it happen. And I know there's a lot of stories that have been written in the last few years that the American dream no longer exists, that you can't pull
Right.
yourself up by your bootstraps and all that. And that naysaying is just not true.
Yeah. But
There's a kid in the book that I profile who started a business in high school doing custom T-shirts, and he's like 22 now, and he is well on his way to being a multimillionaire. His name's Raymond, and you can look at his company. It's really geared towards
Wow.
teens and 20-something. It's called OOO Shirt, OOSHIRT.com. He started this company with $2,000, and now this kid is getting rich.
And he knows the Taiwan airport. He knows where that guy with the
That's
blue
right.
jeans is. Look, Clark Howard is our guest. You listen to Clark Howard on this radio station every day from 6 to 9. You do your show, though, from 12 to 3. So if we want to call you, we have to call you at that time slot, don't we?
Yeah, actually, we take calls starting at just before 1 p.m.
At 1, okay. I want to tell you a little story similar to the one you just told from right here in Ocala. Are you ready for this? We
I'm ready.
we have a guy who comes in here and does a show every week. The show is called Damage Control. Does Joe do it on Mondays?
Tuesdays.
On Tuesdays, okay. He comes in on Tuesday. He's a general contractor, and when times were rough, when there was no building going on at all, he had an idea. Instead of moving out of Dodge or whatever they say and finding another place in the country where construction is booming, which I don't think there was a place,
Yeah.
he said, you know what happens here on a regular basis? Unfortunately, trees fall into homes and damage them. So rather than being the guy to call to build a new house, he became the guy to call to fix the old house. And of course, there's an insurance policy usually with a home, and bingo, there's a source of money and a solution to a problem that wasn't being addressed. I just
Isn't
think,
that fantastic?
yeah,
He took the skills he already had,
right.
found a new business opportunity, and was still able to put food on the table. I mean, that is, if you could have really explained more what this book is about than what you just did, I don't know how you could.
And that's it, right? And so so this is how we can apply this to us.
Yes.
So the stories of inspiration in the book, which thank you for reminding me, we're supposed to be talking about a book. The book is called Clark Howard's Living Large for the Long Haul. Real stories from Americans who saved, lost, and saved again. And just additional information from the cover itself. Consumer-tested ways to overhaul your finances, increase your savings, and get your life back on track. And even though Clark Howard makes money from these books, he's probably going to love the fact that I'm giving this one away.
Yeah.
So I will do that. If you call me, I'll put your name on it, and it'll be yours. And I'm hoping you get. Has the book been out long enough to get feedback from the readers?
Yeah, what I notice is the way people look at the book, the way they start turning page by page and then get captured by something and start reading it. But I wanted to say something. You talk about giving a book away for free.
Right.
The best way to buy one of my books is wait till January, because a lot of people give my books as Christmas gifts.
Okay.
Or they give them to somebody who they think they would like to handle money better.
Right.
And sometimes the recipient doesn't appreciate somebody thinking that they need to handle their money better.
Oh no.
And they turn right around and they sell my book used, on a website, even though it's still really a new book. and you get it so much cheaper that way.
I've heard you actually say that on your show. You are, let's see, you are like the nicest guy in radio, by the way.
Yeah.
And who's the meanest? It's that guy Savage from San Francisco.
Yeah.
What's the guy's name from Savage? What's his Michael? Right, Michael
Mike
Savage.
Michael Savage.
Yeah, he's like the meanest guy in radio, and you're the nicest guy. You're the anti-Savage. Hold on.
Right, so let me tell you something.
Go ahead.
That man, when you're with him in person, has more personality than any 1,000 people you've ever.
I bet he does. So in person, are you really mean?
no, but he's when you're with Michael Savage in person, he's just basically way over the top crazy.
Let me give away the book.
You can picture that listening to his show, right?
I can't hear it at all. No, you know what I picture? I picture cigars. I don't know. Does he smoke a cigar?
I've never seen him with a cigar.
By the way, you're also a good role model for healthy living, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
In the course of your show, you talk about so many different things, and it's not just about finances. Let me give the book away. Good morning. The book is yours. Who's this?
Fantastic. I'd love to have the book. My name is Jim.
Hey, Jim. Do you know we're in the mall now?
I understand you do. I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Okay, well, the book will be waiting for you with your name on it, and I'll sign it and pretend I'm Clark. No, I'm teasing. I won't do that.
Oh, I can live with that.
I'm teasing. But the book will
I
be
know
waiting.
you are.
The book will be waiting for you. All right.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
One of the most interesting things about your book, Clark, is that it is not overwhelming to read, because so many times people speak with investment bankers and they say that you need thousands of dollars to invest and really make it big, but you don't do that. You say whatever a person's income is, even if you have $1 just to grow, you really are an inspiration in that realm.
Well, thank you, because, there's always going to be a market for people who talk to people who have millions of dollars. But the number of people who have millions of dollars, that's tiny. The reality is that most of us, half of us really in America, are just trying to get by. And I want people that feel like life is a monthly financial struggle to know that you can do better than that. That even at whatever point you're at, you can have more breathing space in your life. You can have more choice, more power, more freedom.
You know who the wake-up call people are for me sometimes? That are the immigrants, the people who come here, and I'm not saying illegal immigrants, I'm not getting into that, but the people who've moved over here and said, this is the land of opportunity. We did not have, there's a lady who listens, and she's from Ukraine. She's from Ukraine. And she will always say, you know what, you don't know what it's like until you've not lived here. And so a lot of times we who grew up here, we need that wake-up call from somebody who did not grow up here, if I'm making sense.
You're 100% right. And, I have always had the joy of having a special connection with people who've immigrated to the United States who don't really understand how our system works, how you buy cars here, how you do banking here. And the excitement of meeting people who came from abject poverty and lack of opportunity wherever else they lived in the world, and they come to America and they make absolutely the most of the opportunities that we have in this country, and we do after a while take it for granted.
Hey, I think we do, or we just
the opportunity,
or we just believe the negative, or we believe whatever is wrong. Let me allow listeners to say hi to you. Clark Howard is our guest, and I know you've got a lot of fans who listen to you here on WOCA. Good morning. You're on the air with Clark Howard.
Well, good morning. That's what I was saying. We do listen to Clark Howard every day, and I think he's in Florida. Is that what he's saying? He's local now?
Where are you, Clark?
Well, we live in Jacksonville Beach in Atlanta, and so we commute back and forth. I have a radio studio in Jacksonville Beach and then a radio studio in Atlanta.
Oh, okay.
Well, what I was asking is, why can't we get him to come into the new studios? And I would love to have him just spend an hour talking about cell phones. I mean, every time he talks about cell phones, we have the worst cell phone service.
Talk about cell phones.
And then he'll say, well, I'm testing this out and I'm testing that out, We would just love to have a definitive answer on the top 2 or top 3 or something. And if he doesn't want to just stick with one,
Well, thank you. I
Right,
appreciate
well,
that.
I test them all, and the newest one I can't wait to test is called Text Now. That is an $18 a month smartphone cell phone plan,
Really?
and and the price points being on a smartphone, because the phone itself is not the key thing; it's what you pay per month.
Right.
Prices are coming down and down and down. And some of the best choices right now, if you really want to save money on a full-featured smartphone plan, are GoSmartMobile.com and StraightTalk.com.
See, I've heard you say that, and since we're talking about this, let me tell you my cell phone horror story. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
Monday, my son calls me up. My son is 27 years old. He said, "Dad, did you send me a weird message?" I said, "No, I didn't send you any message." He said, "Oh, I didn't think that was you." So now I'm wondering, what is the message? Was it embarrassing? Did he not tell me everything because maybe I sent him pornography or something? So then I tell Robin, I said, "I don't know what happened, but somebody sent a message to Alex and it looked like it came from me."
Yeah.
So that night I go to use my phone and it says it's been what do you call it? The service was cut off or something like that. So my service is cut off. This is a track phone, Clark. So I go to TrackPhone. I go to TrackPhone.com. I get the phone number. Long story short, I'm on the phone an hour and 18 minutes, only to find out that they closed at 10 o'clock.
That's right.
And now it's 11 something. All right. And then the next day, after I got off the air, I was on the phone for 45 minutes.
Yes.
Only to be
45.
told to call back in 2 hours. And then I got on the phone again for another hour and 12 seconds because I had a little timer that told me so. All right. The end of the conversation, just to kind of wrap this up real quick, they're sending me, and I should receive it today, a new SIM card because somebody hijacked my phone.
Yeah. Isn't that awful?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awful.
Wow.
My goodness. Now I'm worried because you never heard about this before, huh?
No, it used to happen quite frequently, but back in the late 90s, what they called cell phone cloning.
Well, that's
was like
par for my course. I'm always late with everything.
No, but I mean, it was like a national epidemic at the end of the 90s.
Really?
And I was getting cell phone clone calls almost every day. And you're the first person I've heard say it in 15 years.
Well, you know, I didn't discover the TV show Friends until it was way canceled, long time ago. So that sounds like
wow.
me. Yeah.
So, you may have given me a tip of the beginning of a new scam, a new ripoff.
Something. Well, I wondered if I was new or old. I'm not sure what I am.
It sucked out all his
you're
minutes,
brand
too.
New.
All I know is today when I get this thing by FedEx, by the way, which takes 3 days,
Yeah.
when it absolutely positively has to take 3 days,
Yes.
He's
then I'm supposed to get back on the phone with them, and they're going to instruct me what to do. So I'll have to let you know by an email or something. I know you probably have more shows to do, Clark. What an honor to be able to say hi to you in person, or at least on the phone.
Well, it's so great to visit with you, and I promise that when I can, I'll come and visit with you in studio in Ocala.
Well, you will love it. It's a brand new, beautiful studio. Clark, what is your website?
ClarkHoward.com.
I figured it was that. And the new book is called Clark Howard's Living Large for the Long Haul. Go online, go to Clark's site, and make it real cheap. Get it after Christmas when everybody's getting rid of them.
That's right. No. Give him his Christmas.
I'm teasing. Clark, thank you so much for being on with us. It is an honor, and I am a fan. Robin and I listen every day.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
We will take a little break, and we will be right back.
You're listening to WOCA News Talk 1370, Ocala's source for what's happening in today's hottest, up-to-date news and topics.
Phoenix Promotional Solutions, your company supplier of banners, digital decals, yard signs, and magnetic signs. Where you give them approved artwork by noon, the next day by 4 p.m., you pick up your banners, digital